Team PBL Activity: How Can We Prevent Media from Negatively Impacting Adolescents? By Mikaela Bajus, Sevrina Fernandes, Erin Maitland, Sinead and Sumayya Yaseen. Analysis questions. Number 1. In what ways does media influence children and adolescents? Number 2. Are there ways to restrict children and adolescents from accessing certain types of media content? Number 3. Could current restrictions imposed, such as those on Netflix, be improved upon? If so, what are your suggestions? The problem. Media can have a negative influence on children and adolescents. An example. Netflix currently has certain restrictions that can be put into place to block content for its younger users. However, this does not mean that a child cannot access another profile without these restrictions. A few weeks ago, I overheard the television in my bedroom and walked in on my 6-year-old daughter watching a show called Bringing Sexy Back. She had ended up in my Netflix profile and clicked on Play Now. Although this show is about people changing their eating habits and promoting physical exercise, it is not age appropriate for a 6-year-old to be watching. She does not need to be exposed to people's personal struggles with weight and low self-esteem at such a young age. Currently, Netflix does not have passwords per user as an option to prevent children from accessing other user profiles in a Netflix account. Theory and findings. Young children and digital technology. Children are being introduced to television and media early through tablet and app use. Disney, Amazon, Netflix, and Nickelodeon are experimenting with disturbing kids' programming to take advantage of and to encourage binge watching. Media outlets have noticed that the behavior of young children to watch multiple episodes in a row and even the same episode over and over. Also noted was that, quote, young audiences are often a tablet-first audience, and almost 40% of households with children under 7 have one or more tablets, end quote. Matrix 2013, page 122. Disney and Nickelodeon, in attempts to capitalize on research and encourage binge watching, strategically releases several series on their app first. Research shows students, quote, follow their favorite shows to secure their position within social groups, defined in large part by their shared cultural competencies, end quote. Matrix 2013, page 127. The cognitive social theory suggests that children learn by observing the behaviors of significant adult figures, Megan 2017. Therefore, it is important for parents to model healthy behavior by not constantly being on their phones or watching television in front of their children, as children might pick up on these habits from observing their parents and from constantly being surrounded by technology and having access to it. Young children are mostly egocentric and likely to interpret television as a realistic perception of the world. Weitrop et al. 2016. Developmentally and cognitively speaking, it is difficult for children to critically, quote, evaluate more complex uses and meanings of various media, and that can leave them vulnerable to negative influences, including violent, inappropriate pictures and messages, unfair persuasion, and inaccurate perceptions of reality, end quote. Weitrop et al. 2016. Self-harm and suicide related to Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. This effect Netflix, television, and programming has on children and youth was demonstrated upon release of popular series 13 Reasons Why, which through direct observation or through conversation brought an increased exposure to suicide-related media, which is known to increase the risk of self-harm, self-injury, and suicide-related thoughts. Townsend, Cooper, and DeLeon 2018. Hospital admissions related to suicide and self-harm were higher, coinciding with the release of 13 Reasons Why, which suggests an effect. Of note, the age group identified were related to 4 to 18 years old. Townsend, Cooper, and DeLeon 2018. Suicide connotation is a known phenomenon among teens. The release of the Netflix series caused widespread alarm among pediatric mental health care providers concerned with its effects on adolescents and the risk of suicide. Townsend, Cooper, and DeLeon 2018. How media influences adolescents' gender construction. Television may be the most significant type of media in a child's life. Therefore, it is influential in shaping ideas of appropriate sex roles. This likely comes from the amount of time young children spend watching TV. Witt 2015. A child is, quote, frequently faced with gender biases and stereotypes. This knowledge will be incorporated and influence their perceptions regarding men and women, and may also exhibit gender bias attitudes that are modeled on television, end quote. Witt 2015. Traditionally, female characters on TV are more likely to be passive, indecisive, subordinate to men, romantic, attractive, happy, sociable, and peaceful, with an emphasis on attractiveness and desirability. In contrast, male characters are likely to be assertive, leaders, decisive behavior, rational, smart, competitive, with an emphasis on strength, performance, and skill. Quote, children without television have been shown to be less stereotyped in their gender role attitudes and less likely to perpetrate stereotypes they view. End quote. Witt, 2015. Adolescence, Sex, and the Media. Strasburger, 2005, suggests that media is becoming a leading sex educator for children and teenagers. This has negative effects on youth from not being supervised on what they watch. Strasburger, 2005, also suggests that there are many studies that show adolescents learn from and form opinions about sex from the media. The study also suggested that as the frequency rate of adolescents accessing media outlets increases, they are more likely to mimic the sexual behavior they see on TV and in movies. Adolescents who are exposed to higher frequency of content of a sexual nature are twice as likely to engage in sexual intercourse at an early age. Strasburger, 2005. Suggestions and solutions. For all of the reasons mentioned, monitoring what your children watch is very important. Many issues related to gender stereotyping, self-harm were shown to increase as a result of television exposure. Parental controls are a means of regulating what your children are exposed to and to what extent. Studies in this area have concluded parents should, quote, engage children and allow them to show us and explain what they know about these technologies, how they use them, and how they are influenced by them, to accurately evaluate the appropriateness of various media technologies and serve as mediators against possible negative influences, end quote. Weitrup et al., 2016. This makes parental involvement in children's media use very important. Research has suggested much of children's media use is gone unsupervised. Kang and Shin, 2016, investigate the effects parents have on adolescents' internet usage, concerns of online privacy and online communication of adolescents, and beneficial parental mediation strategies, such as instructive and restrictive, through conducting a survey in Singapore of 746 adolescents with 4 separate secondary schools. This survey revealed the instructive mediation, also known as active mediation strategy, to be more effective, as this strategy allows open parent-adolescent communication regarding social media, which helps with privacy concerns, whereas the restrictive mediation strategy was less effective, as this strategy focuses on setting rules and controlling adolescents' social media use. Kang and Shin, 2016. Therefore, active mediation could be a beneficial strategy for parents when it comes to ensuring their children's safety by being actively involved in their children's social media usage while providing them with some freedom to explore social media on their own. Family Link is a mobile service that provides participatory parental mediation, where co-learning and engagement between parent and adolescents is encouraged through collaborative online activities that involve ways to improve self-regulation for the whole family. Choi, Ko, Lee and Yang, 2015. This provides families with the opportunity to communicate and to learn about technology together and to be actively involved in each other's media use. Mental Health Business Week 2018 suggests that parents should be diligent about what their children watch, especially if their children are at risk for suicide. Children watching shows with their parents and openly communicating with them about what they watch and about their feelings and experiences could potentially make for a positive outcome. Mental Health Business Week 2018. If more shows and Netflix series, such as 13 Reasons Why, had extended episodes where they discussed and explained the serious issues that took place in the show, then together, parents and their children could become more aware, understanding, and knowledgeable of these issues. It would also be beneficial for more shows to issue warnings regarding the content and urge children to watch them with a trusted adult if necessary, prior to the show starting. Why did we choose these solutions? We chose these solutions because we believe that appropriate parental mediation strategies where parents are involved and communicate with their children on social media usage while allowing them to explore social media on their own is important in building healthy relationships. Also, we believe that it is important for parents to set up password-protected user profiles for their media accounts so that their children, especially younger children, do not have access to potentially inappropriate content. Synthesis questions. Number 1. What are some ways that parents and guardians can prevent media from negatively impacting their children? Number 2. What are some strategies for parents and guardians to ensure that their children feel safe and comfortable talking about how they feel regarding different social media outlets? And number 3. Should Netflix considering offering the option to password protect different user profiles on a Netflix account?